when shall we free meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, and the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Upon the heath,
there to meet with Macbeth.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air.
This is the sergeant, like a good and hearty soldier against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king the knowledge of the royalist thou didst lead. Down to it stood, as two spencers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, from the western isles of kerns and gown glasses is supplied. And fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, shone like a rebel's whore, but also too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name, disdaining fortune, with his brandished steel, which smote with bloody execution, like Valor's Regan carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unsheathed him from the knaves and chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
As whence the sun gains his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful blunders, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark! No sooner justice having from our arms, compel these skipping curves to trust their heels. But the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furnished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismay not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare of the lion, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. A smack of honor both. Go get insurgents.
Who comes here? Worthy fate of Ross.
When a haste comes through his eyes, so should he look at his feet that is strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy thing?
From Fife, king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fear our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by the most disloyal traitor, the fame of Coppenger, began a dismal conflict that the worthy Macbeth laughed and improved, confronting him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us.
No more than lead a cause shall deceive our enemies. Go pronounce his cousin dead, and with his former title, Greek Macbeth.
See it down.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Stupid hat. Roy thee witch, the rumbling runyon cries. Her husband's to be master of the tide. But in a sieve off with her sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
And I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow. I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day, and from his penthouse lay. He shall let a man forbid. Though his bark cannot be lost, it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have. Here I have. Upon his thumb, read his own words he did come. A trump, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand, hosters of the sea and land, thus to go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up nine. Peace. The charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
Our forest called the forest. Over these, so wasted, wild and untied. Look not at the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it. Leave you, or are you all demanding a question?
Speak if you can. What are
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, thane of glass.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth. Thou shalt be king hereafter.
So why do you stop? In the name of truth, are ye fantastic? And how do you show? My old partner agreed with peasant grace, great prediction of noble having. He seems wrapped with awe. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me. Neither beg, nor fear your favors, nor your hate.
Hail, hail, hail. Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy yet. Much happier.
Thou shalt give kings, though thou be not. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo and Macbeth. All hail!
Say, you worthless weakness, tell me more. By my father's death, I am Thane and lost, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. The king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why, upon this master heap, you stop our way with such prophetic reading. Speak, I charge you!
The earth hath bubbled as the wand has. These are them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. What seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind, but they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? We be done in the same route. Case the reason for them.
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
The Thane of Cawdor too, were it not so.
To the self-same tune and words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received Macbeth and his of thy successes. And when he reads thy personal adventure in the rebel's fight, his wonders and his praises do contend what should be thine or his.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not to pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, and which hail most worthy Thane. For it is done.
What can the devil but treason's capital confessed and proved have overthrown him.
Laws and thing of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you know what children shall be kept from those who gave the fame of Cawdor to me promise no less today?
That trusted home might get to keep a little around.
Besides the fame of Cawdor. It is strange. Oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us to punish trifles to betray the deepest consequence. Cousins, a word I pray you.
Two truths are told, as happy prologues to this swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look, our heart is wrapped.
If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him. Like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what? Come me! Time, and the hour runs through the roughly scale.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My Lord Wayne will go out with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered, your everyday action will leave to read them. Let us go to the king. Think on that chance. And at more time, years from having waited, let us speak our free hearts each one.
Very clever.
Till then, anyhow. Come, friends!
Is execution done on Cawdor or not those insufficient ever tried?
Not usually are not missing that. But I have spoken before the side who died and did report that, very frankly, he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became like the bleeding it.
There is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Ah, worthiest cousin. The sin of my ingratitude even now is heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wind of arguments to swelter over thee. And when I have left to say, more is thy due, and more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe, in doing it, pays itself. Your highness parties receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, who do but what they should by doing everything safe with your love and honor.
Walk a little. I have begun to plant thee and will labor to make thee full of growth. Noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved, nor must have known, no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart. There, if I grow, the harvest is your own. My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, you whose places are the nearest. Know we will establish our estate upon our eldest mountain, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. Must not unaccompanied invest them only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deserters. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor, which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife at your approach. So, humbly take my leave.
My word, Father.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else so it leap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your eyes. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, and let that be which the eye fears when 'tis done to see.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfect reports they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, to which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which time before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with hail, king that shalt be. This have I happened to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou wholly. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'st have great lawns, that which cries, thus thou must do, if thou have it. And that which rather thou dost fear to do, than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who wert so but have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true, our thing is coming. One of my fellows had to speed of him, whom a whole dagger of breath had scarcely more than make out his message.
Keep him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come! You spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substance you wait on nature's mischief. Come!
dearest love. Duncan comes here tonight.
And when was this?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that tomorrow see. Your face, my fame, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Very well done. Your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look clear, to alter favor and disappear. Leave all rest to me.
See, our honor hostess. The love that follows us sometimes our trouble, which still we think is love. Herein I teach you how you shall thank God healed us for your pains, and thanked us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point twice done and then done double, our poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the thing of Coppenger? We coursed them at the heels and had a purpose to these forbade. But he runs well. And his great love, sharp as his spur, hath called him to his own. They are a noble hostess. We are good guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs, themselves, and what is theirs, in count to make their audit at your highness' pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me, mine host. You love him highly and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
If it were done when 'tis done, and for well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with these surcease success, that this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, on this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which being taught in turn, play the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First as I am his subject, and his kinsman strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against these men will shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead, like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. And pity, like a naked newborn babe, stride the blast, for heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall come the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He is almost stopped. Why have you left the chamber?
Have you asked for me?
No,
would proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have not gold from all sorts of people, which would be war now and then, which was not cast aside so soon.
And wakes it now to look so green and pale, waited so free. From this time such, I count thy love. Art thou feared to be seen in mine wrath, and valor's thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest to be ornament of life, as of a tower of mine own esteem, but I dare not place my eye, would not protect.
I dare do all that may become a man who dares do wars of none.
What beast was that made you break this enterprise to me? When you dressed to it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more of a man. Nor time or place depended here, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given supper, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nibble from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to me.
We should fail!
We fail! But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, where to the bad shall he stay his hard journey soundly inviting. His two chamberlains will eye with wine and the wassail so convinced that, Mary, the water green, shall be clean, and the receipt of reason a little bit only. When the swine sleep, their drenched of nature's lies as in death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What's not put upon his spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only. But I, dogs of metal, shall comprise nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have mocked with blood all sweetly to his own chamber and used their very guns that they have?
Who dares receive another, as we shall make our briefs and clamor roar upon his death?
Nothing settled. We bring up each the choral agent to this terrible feat. Away! Mock of time and fair show. False face must hide, but false thought not know.
There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Oh, taking that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me. Yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers restraining me, cursed thoughts that nature gives way to repose.
Give me my leg. Who's there? A friend!
What, sir? Not yet at rest. The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became a servant to effect, which else should free her not.
All fled. I dreamt last night the three weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. If only you would entreat an hour to serve, we would spend this word upon that business, if you grant time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall plead for my consent, when it is, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none, seeking to augment it, and still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear. I shall be counsel.
Good repose a while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Go be thy mistress, and my drink is ready to strike on there with me here. Is this the dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch it. I have thee not, yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Art thou the dagger of the mind? A false creation proceeding from the heat of present brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going. Such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are with the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and judging gouts of blood which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now all but one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose hounds he's watched thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm setter, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones pray to my whereabout, and take the present war from the time when thou stoodst with it. Whilst I fret, he lives, worse than he of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and he is dead. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Oh, that which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, that fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die. Alack, I'm afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid the daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had I not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband.
I've done the deed. Son, hear yours.
I heard the owls scream and the crickets cry. Did not you see?
When?
Now.
As I descended. Ah! Who lies in the sunny chamber?
Only.
Ooh, this is a sorry sight.
Foolish thoughts to say a sorry sight.
This one did back in sleep. One cried murder that they did wake each other. I stood, heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
We are too lost together.
One cried, God bless us! And amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening heavily, I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us.
Consider it not so.
Wherefore could not I pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These must not be false after these ways. So it will make us mad.
He thought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more! Macbeth does murder sleep. Innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the loud sleep of care. The death of each day's life. Sore labor's back. Balm of her mind. Great nature's second course. Cheap nourishment in life's feast. Still a cry. Sleep no more. Dwell the house. Logs have murdered sleep. Therefore, calm shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Oh, isn't that thus cry? My worthy thing, to unbend your bold strength, take so bring sickly of things. Go get some water and wash this filthy waste from your hands. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleeping grooms with blood.
Oh, no! I'm afraid to speak what I've done. The blood again, I dare not.
Infernal purpose! Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. It is the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms with all, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise calls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes! Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, no, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine, turning the green one red.
hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a harp so white. I hear a knocking at the soft entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
No, indeed. To best I know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking! I would thou couldst. I have almost slipped the hour! call to call, which is my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He has. We need appointments.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down. And as they say, the banquets heard in the air. Strange screams of death, prophesying the accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird did clangor the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
Was a rough night.
Not parallel fellow to it.
Oh, horror! Tongue no heart cannot conceive no name. What's the matter? Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke up the Lord's anointed temple, and so thence the life of the building. What did you say? The life!
Mean you was nice.
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with the new organ. Do not bid me speak! See and then speak yourself! Awake! Awake! Bring the alarm now! Murder and treason! Macduff, Duncan, Malcolm, awake! Rise from this downy sleep, this counterfeited look on death itself! Up, and see the great doom's image! Malcolm! Banquo! Let show your graves rise up and walk like sprites that countenance this horror!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parting the sleepers of this house? Speak! Speak!
Gentle lady, it is not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it were. Oh, Banquo! Our royal master was murdered.
What? Alas, what's in our house?
Say it is not so.
And I died an hour before this chance. I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant there is nothing serious in mortality. All has been toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere leaves is left this vault to battle.
What is this?
You're off! And you do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood stopped. The very source of it is stopped. Your royal father is murdered. Oh, by whom?
Those of his chambers, as it seemed, had done. Their hands and their faces were badged with blood, as with their daggers, which, unwiped, we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I can repent me of my fury that I could kill them! Wherefore did you so? Who can be wise? Amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral, in a moment. No man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pauser, reason. He lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs look like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. They are the murderers, steeped in the colors of their own trade, their daggers unmerrily breached with gore. Who could refrain, and had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make his love known?
Help me, yes. How?
Look to the lady. Why do we hold ourselves in which they claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here, where our fate, tainted in all our holy Russian sees us? Once away, our tears are not yet proved.
Nor our strong sorrow all full of emotion. Look to the lady.
When we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer in exposure, let us meet. Question this most bloody piece of work. Fears, scruples shake us. In the great hand of God, I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense, I fight treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easily. I'll take England.
To Ireland and I, our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. For we are daggers and then smiles. The nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that shot at money and life, and our safest ways to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave taking, but shift away. There is warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, friends his bloody stage. And the clock 'tis day, yet dark night strangles the traveling man. Is it night's predominance or the day's shame that the darkness does of earth and tomb when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain. Beauteous and swift the minions of that race turned wild in nature, broke their skulls, flung out contending against obedience as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they hate each other.
That they did, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why see we not?
Is it known who did this mortal bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth has slain.
Alas the day, what good could they protect?
Very small. Not even now by the king's son to show away pledge. It's upon the suspicion of the king.
Against nature still. Thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own life's means. And 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He was already left soon to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Fair Swanhill. The storehouses of predecessors and guardians of their guns.
Will you just do?
No. That is not the fight.
Well, I will thither.
You see things around. Adieu. Let's start all roads sitting to an army.
it now. King, Condor, flowers, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playedst most foully for it. Yet, it was said that it should not stand in thy posterity, that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why thy verities on thee made good? May they not be my witness as well? Set me up. But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest!
There's a gap in our great feast, and all things unbecoming.
Tonight we behold the solemn supper, sir. And I'll request your presence.
Which my views of the most insoluble path forever knit.
Rising this afternoon,
Aye, my good lord.
we should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. It's far you know.
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time for this distant sun. Go not my horse the better, I must become the borrower of that for a dark hour at home.
They'll not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their ears with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state claiming us jointly, hie you to horse. Adieu, till you return at night. Ghost Leon's with you.
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
Then I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I can commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. And in society of sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men, our pleasure.
They are my lord without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature brings that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There's none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. As it is said, Mark Antony's was my Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him, and prophet right, they hailed him far to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a very scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them. And mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seeds of Banquo kings! Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? And go to the door and stay there till you call. Was it not yesterday we last spoke together?
Yes,
Well then, now be considered of my speeches. Know that he was
has he in the times past withheld you so under fortune? Which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference. How you were born in hand, a cross, the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to hack a soul into a notion great, say, thus speak Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so. And went further, which is now our point of second. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospel to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bound you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
I am one of my age, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another so weary with disasters tugged by fortune that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid of it.
Both of you know Banquo was your end.
True, my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrust my ears to light. I know I could, with bare-faced power, sweep him from my side and bid my will about it. Yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And this it is, that I to your assistance do make love, mastering the business from the common eye, for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, before we commend,
So our
Your
lives.
spirit shine through you. At this hour and most, I will advise you to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spying time, the moment on, for it must be done tonight, in something from the palace. I always thought that I required clearness, and with him, do no rugs nor boxes in the work. Leon's, his son that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
Here, resolve.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide with him. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone to court? I have, and the court is here tonight. Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words. Madam, my lord. Naught had, all spent. For our desire is not without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Come now, my lord. Why do you keep below? Those sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them, they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have starched the snake, not killed it. She rose, and being herself, whilst all born malice remains in danger of her former tooth. Let the frame of things disjoint. Both the worlds suffer. Ere we repeat our meal in fear, and sleep in affliction, in these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, and on the torture of the mind lie in the restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave, after life's fitful fever he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, or in letting nothing can touch him further.
Come on! Gentle, lower your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray, be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him with eminence both, with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while, that we must lave our honors in flattering streams, and make our faces visit to our hearts, disguising what they are.
Must leave
Now,
this.
full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his fleons lives.
But human nature's copies not eternal.
There's comfort yet. There is saving. Then be thou jolly, ere that thou hast flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums, hath rung night's yawning peal. There shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest child, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, and scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
But who did bid thee join us? Macbeth! He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just. Then stand the west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lady traveler of haste to gain the timely inn, and here approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear horses!
Give us a light there. Oh.
Nay, see, the rest are within their expectation are already in court. His sources go that.
Almost a mile, but he does usually. So all men do, from hence to the palace gate, make it their walk.
Like what?
Just see.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down!
Down, freedoms! God! Thou makes the best!
Who did strike out the light?
Oh, it's not the way!
There's but one down, besides them. We have lost best half of our affair. Well, let's away and say how much is done.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. And first and last, a hearty welcome.
Thank you, my lord.
Ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
She then come to you as our heart's fence. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. Be large and murder,
There's blood upon my face.
Tis Banquo's then.
Tis better be without than he within. Seems that
My lord, his throat is cut, and that I deplore.
thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like of fleets. Thou didst devour the non-morale.
Most royal sir, plants escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad in general as the casing air. Now, I am caverned, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears, for Banquo's sake.
I may the Lord safely in a ditch divided with 20 trenchant gashes upon his head, the least to death of each.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature and in time will venom breed. Your teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, that is not often vouched, while 'tis a making 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home, from thence the sauce to meet a ceremony, meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembered, sir. Now good digestion wait on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness sit.
Here at me now, our country's on a roof,
With a graced person of our Banquo present,
who may I rather challenge from kindness and pity from his chance.
His absence early is blamed upon his promise. Please, my lord, to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
There's a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my lord.
Ah!
What is it that troubles you?
Which of you guys?
No, my lord.
Thou canst not say I didn't. Thou said I know belongs to me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is but momentary. Upon thoughts he will again be well. If not you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not. Are you a man?
I, in a bold one that dared upon that was but called a coward.
Proper stuff! This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. These flaws and stark impostures the true fear would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire authorized by her grandson. Shame itself! Why do you make such faces when all's done you look but on a stool?
Really see there! Look you behold! How say you? I don't care I. Thou didst not. Speak!
what hath been said. And now, in the olden time, ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel, and since too, murders have been performed too terrible for the ear. Time has been, and when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. And now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. Oh, this is more strange than such a murdering.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse in me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Now sit down. Give me some wine. Fifthful. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. When he were here, to all, and to him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties have been pledged.
Let me abide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no stimulation of eyes, and God's railway!
Think of this, good parents, but something of custom. 'Tis no other, only is spoiled.
What man dare, I dare, approach thou with the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, take any shape but that in my armor so that tremble. Be like again with black bear, trembling on hands, progressing a baby and a girl, hands on the child, unreal mockery, yes! God. I saw, being gone, I'm mad again. Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be, and overcome us like summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange, even in the disposition that I own. Now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, whose mind is black with fear.
What sights, my
I
lord?
pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not the public order of your going, but go at once.
Good night. Better tell the tamer that.
The kind's good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. Olives in misunderstood relations have like maggot pies, and chucks and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost about the morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person in all great bidding?
Did you send him, sir?
I hear it by, but I will send. He's not a one of them, but in his house I can serve a feed. I will tomorrow betides I will to the weird sisters. More will they speak, for now I am ready to know what the worst means. Worse. My own good. All causes shall give way. Iron and blood stepped in so deep, and should I wait no further, returning was tedious to go over. Strange things that I had will to have, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
the season of all natures. Sleep.
How? We are to sleep. My strange self-abuse is the initiate fear that once our youth. We are yet but young indeed.
Speeches have but hit your thoughts which can interpret farther. Only I say things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Married, he was dead. And the right valiant Banquo walked too late. You may say, if it please you, Theon's killed for Theon's fled. Men must not walk too late. Who could not want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donald to kill their gracious father? Damned fact, how it did grieve Macbeth. Did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to do them and deny. So I say, he has borne all things well. And I think that he can have Duncan's sons under his key. And as it please heaven, he shall not. They should find which word kill the father. So shall Theon's. But peace. From broad words, because he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English courts and is received of the most pious Edward, with such grace that, the malevolence of fortune, nothing takes from his high respects. Thither Macduff is gone, to pray the holy king upon his aid, to wake Northumberland and warlike seaward, that by the help of these we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts and banquets bloody knives.
Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere we come, that a swift blessing may return to this, our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayer to him.
Sweltered venom, poison got, boiled out first in the charming pot.
answer me. For you would tie the winds and let them fight against the churches, till the yeasty waves you confound and swallow navigation up. Though blade corn be lost and trees blown down, though castles topple on their borders' heads, though pyramids and palaces do slope their heads to their foundations, even though the treasure of nature's germs tumble all together, even to destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you!
Speak! Demand! You answer. Say if thou'lt rather hear it from our mouths, or from our masters.
Come, let me see you!
Pour in south.
Ah!
Eating her eye, Pharaoh! Grease that's sweating from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flames!
Tell me, thou unknown power!
He will not be commanded! Hear his speech! Say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware, Macduff. Beware the thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough!
Whatever thou art, thy precaution thanks. Thou hast harmed my fear right. But one word
He
more!
will not be commanded! Here's another. Potent than the first.
Macbeth. Macbeth.
3 years I hear thee!
Bloody. Bold and resolute. Laughed, scorn the power of man, for none of woman-born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? And yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, in sleep, in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the rounded top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion manful, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirators are. Macbeth shall never vanquish thee until great burning wood to high Duncan hill shall come against him.
But that will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix its earthbound root? Sweet bold makes good. Rebellious dead rise, never to the wood of Burnham rise. And our high place Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time in mortal custom. And my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if thou art to tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know!
Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come, my shadow, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo down. Thy sound to sear my eyeballs. In thy hair, another gold-bound brows like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? Fourth, stark eyes! What will the lies shut down in the bracket do? Another yet, seventh! I'll see no more! And yet an eighth appears, which shows me a glass that bears many more. In some I see that twofold balls and treble scepters carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-bolted Banquo smiles on me and looks it out for his. What is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so.
Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there!
What is your grace's will?
Tell you the weird sisters.
No.
Can they not buy you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse who once came by.
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Ah, my good lord.
Time. Thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighting purpose ne'er is overtook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very first things of my heart shall be the first things of my hand. And now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon fight, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all those unfortunate souls that trace him in his line, though boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fears.
Wisdom! To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love, and little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all.
My dearest punch! I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is wise, noble, and best knows the things of the season. Do not speak much further. The cruel other times when we are traitors do not know ourselves. Speak what you believe. Shall not be long, but I will be here again. My coercion! Blessing.
Father he is, yet he is fatherless.
and set for. My father's not dead for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How will you do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why I can buy me 20 in market.
Then you'll buy and sell again.
Thou speaks with all thy wit, and yet speak wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
One who swears and lies.
And be it all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Aye, everyone.
Who must hang them?
By the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang them up.
That thou help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for it. If you would not, it were a good sign I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkest. Bless you, fair dame. I have not to you known living mercy and honor. I am perfect. I doubt some danger to suppose you nearly be not found here. Hence, with your little ones. I dare buy no longer. Whither should I fly? I've done no harm. But I remember now I'm in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable. To do good sometimes accounted dangerous folly. Why then at last do I put up that womanly defense to say I have done no harm? What are these faces? Where's your husband? I open no place someone sent to find me, such as thou mayst find him. He's a traitor!
Thou liest, thou stag-haired villain!
What? You egg!
Let us seek out some desolate shade. There we are set close to temple.
Let us rather hold fast our noble sword, and like good men destroy our downfall early. Each new lord, new widow's howl, new orphan's cry, new sorrow strike heaven in the face, and it resounds as if it felt the Scotland and yelled out right syllable of tone.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no believe. And what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoken may be so, perchance. This tyrant whose soul many blisters our tongue was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up you weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things bow where the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I've lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I define my doubts. Why in that broadness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave taken. I pray you, let not my dishonors be your own safeties, but mine own justice. You may be rightly just whatever I shall think.
Bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy bases shore for goodness dare not check. Wear thou thy wrongs, thy titles of fear. Fairly well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou bidst for the whole space in the tyrant's wrath and the rich beast's food.
Be not offended. I speak not in an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right. And here from gracious England have I offered goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head or wear it on my sword, yet still shall my poor country have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
And what should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth shall seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confinements harms.
Not in the legions of hard hell can come a devil more damned than evils that taught Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious. But there is no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. My desire, all continent penance would overbear that which did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. Fear not yet to take upon you what is yours, to make convey your pleasures in a state that you yet seem cold. The time you may so we have only days enough. Not be that vulture in you to devour so many, so with great aesthetic in themselves, finding it so.
With this there grows in my most ill-composed affections such a staunchless avarice that, were I king, I would cut off the nobles from their lands, desire his jewels in his other's house, and mine, more having, would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, goes with more pernicious root than some esteem was, and it hath been the sword of our slain king. Do not fear.
Scotland hath poisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable, brother Grace's weight.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, bounty, severance, mercy, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime acted in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound our unity on earth.
Scotland,
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
fit to govern. No, not to live. O nation miserable with an untitled tyrant, bloody scepter, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again?
Since that the truest issue of thy throne, thy of his own tradition send the curse, and thus blaspheme his breed. Your royal father was a most saintly king, and the queen that bore the honor upon her knees and on her feet died every day she lived. These evils that are pinched upon myself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, I hope ends here.
Macduff! This noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these traits, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me. For even now, I put myself to thy direction, unspeak my own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself as strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, who never was forsworn. At no time broke my faith. Scarcely have coveted what was mine own, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than in life. My first false speaking was this upon myself: what I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed before thy hair approach, old seaward, with 10,000 warlike men already in point was setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome things and unwelcome things at once is hard to reconcile. See who comes here?
From my country, but yet I know not.
Why, ever gentle cousin! What the matter?
I know him now. Good God, the times are moving.
That's not the word, did it?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother but our grave, where nothing but who seems to know nothing is one seemed to spot.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age shall miss the speaker each minute seems a new one.
Who's my wife?
Right well.
Go on, shoot.
Well, too.
Tyrant was unbattled after the peace.
Though they were at peace when I did leave
You
them.
got the monster of your speech. How was it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings which I had heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many of the fellows that were at, which was to my belief witnessed the rather for that I saw the tidings powerful. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
See their comfort, we are coming to them. Graciously hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men. The older and better soldier, none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that will be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not match them.
What concern them? General cause, or is it fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that so but in it share some lower, the main part of the case to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your silence my tongue forever, which shall possess him with the heaviest sound that heaven hath ever heard.
I guess
Your guest was surprised. Your wife and days, savage and slaughtered. To relate the man were on the quarter of these murdered deer to add death to you.
Merciful heaven! What? Man, there pull your hat upon your cross. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the overfraught heart and bids it break.
my children too.
And then my wife killed too.
I said,
Be comforted. Let's make mentions of our great revenge to cure this deadly. He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, hellkite, all! What? All of my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop.
Disputed like a
I
man!
shall do so! But I was also feared as a man! Remember, such things were. They were most precious to me. Heaven look on and will not take them. Sinful Macduff! They were all struck with me. Not for my hand, not for their own demerits, but for mine, thus slaughter to their souls! Heaven was Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt one the heart, enrage it.
I completely remove my eyes and dragon with my tongue. Gentle heavens, cut short all redemption. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length second. And if he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This too goes man. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready, our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their heavenly instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long and never finds the day.
Two nights watch with you, receive no truth in your report. When did she last walk?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed. Throw her nightcap upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed, yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, aside from her walking and other active performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
Well, you may to me, and to most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone have you no witness to confirm my account. Look, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her. Stand close.
Now, how came she by that light?
White stood by her. She has led by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour. It is a soft.
Hark! She speaks.
Out! Damn spots! Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then, it's time to do it. grows murky.
Fine, fine! What soldier we fear? What's needed we fear who knows it, so none can call it how it soon happens. As to the thoughts, the old man to have had so much blood in him.
You can mark that.
The fate of Fife had wife. Where is she now? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No more that, no more that, you are all in this starting!
Don't you? No, you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
There's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes in Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What a sight is there. The heart sorely cut.
Has such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it please her.
This disease is beyond my practice. But I have known those who walked in their sleeps and died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown, look not so pale. Tell me yet again that Banquo was buried. He cannot come out of his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed, he is knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your head. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
You should go down to bed. Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their death pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. My mind, she is amazing and amazing my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, the doctor.
coming.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
Certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son and many unrough youths who even now protest their first manhoods.
What does the tyrant? Great Duncan he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Those that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause on the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murder sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts, upbraid his faith preach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his petulant senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there? Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed, namely the medicine of the sickly wheel, and pour with him in our country's purge each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs to do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Maybe our march goes burning.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Barnum would come to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth, for no man born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly false things, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind eye spray guard, and hard eye bear shall never stab with doubt, nor shake with fear. Devil down these black, thou cream-faced loon! Where art thou that goose look?
There is 10,000.
Geese, villain!
Soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face, and overread thy fear. What soldiers, Patch? Death of their soul! Those winning cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, wave face?
The English force so please you.
Take thy face hence! Sage! I am sick at heart, but I be whole. Sage, I say! This bush will cheer me ever, or deceive me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sea. The yellow leaf, and that should accompany old age as love, honor, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses. Not loud, but deep. Mouth honor. Breath which the poor heart would fain deny, and dare not. Say it!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Scur the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How is your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with tickling fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Couldst thou not minister to a mind disease? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise up the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet, oblivious antidote, cleanse the soft bosom of that perilous stuff who weighs upon the heart.
Therein, the patient must minister to himself.
Throw visit to the dogs! I'll none of it. Come! Put on mine armor. Bring me my staff. Satan! Say that. Doctor! The veins fly from me.
bounds their dispatch. Is thou good, softly? Cast the water of my land, find your disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health. I have loved thee to the very ankle that might applaud again. Put off, I say! What rhubarb, senna, or purgative drug would scour these English heads? Here's thou then!
Aye, my good lord. Your royal preparation makes us hear something.
I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest be come to Duncan.
Cousins, I hope the days are close at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubted nothing.
What is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery air and report of us.
It shall be done.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant to keep still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt. And none serve him now, but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate. Towards which, advance the war!
Hang on our banners on the outward walls! The cry is still, they come! Our castle's strength will laugh the siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the edge eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them darefoot, beard to beard, and beat them backward home! What noise was that?
The cry of wicked like a lord.
I have almost forgotten the taste of fears. Time is ended. My senses would cool near a night shoot. My fellow pair where dismal trees rouse and stirs like wind. I have supped full with horrors. Direst, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace from day to day, for the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools away to dusty death. Out, brief candle! Life's walking shadow. A poor clay that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. How comes to use thy tongue, thy story, quickly?
Gracious, my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say so.
As I did start my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon, methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slain!
Within this 3 miles museum, I say, a moving rope.
Thou speakest false. On the next tree shalt thou hang till famine bring thee. Thou speakest true, I care not if thou dost read as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the theme that lies. But truth, fear not, Macbeth, till burn the wood we come to Duncan. For now, the wood does come toward Duncan.
Shall we our first battle? The worthy Macduff and we shall take upon us what else remains to do, according to our order.
Very well. Do we defy the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death. They have tied me to a stake. I must not fly, but bear like I must fight the corpse. Was he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear or none.
What is thy name?
Thou be afraid, is here.
No, though thou callst thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name is Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fear.
Thou liest, abhorrent tyrant! My sword, I'll prove the lie thou speakst!
Swords I smile at, weapons laughed to scorn, brandished by a man that's not woman born. That way the noises! Tyrant, show thy face. If thou be slain and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns whose arms are higher to bear their staves. Rather thou, Macbeth, or else my sword, with an unbattered edge I sheathe again unheeded. Let me find him, fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord. The castle's gently ready. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble dames do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes towards and little is to do.
We have met the foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die by my own sword? Because I see lives, the gashes to bear upon them. Turn, hellhound. Turn! Of all men else I avoid thee. Again thee back. My soul is much too charged with blood of thine already. I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloody villain turns to give thee out! Thou his neighbor, as easy may fell the entrenched air, with thy keen sword and presence. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born. Despair thy charm. And let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these struggling thieves no more believed, that talk with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. How about fight thee?
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young mountain's feet, or be bane with wildest curse, though murder would become to Duncan aid, and thou opposed of no woman born, and I will try to last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield, lay on Macduff, and damned be he that cries, "Oh, enough!"
Macduff is missing. And your noble son.
Your son, my lord. His dark soul was dead. He lived until he was a man, for which no sooner was his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
And he is dead?
Aye. The cause of sorrow should not be measured by his worth, for that it hath died.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have heirs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is known.
He's worth more sorrow than that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. So God be with him. Here comes your comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see the compass to my kingdom's birth, who speak my salutations in their mind, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail!